One of the most infamous conspiracy theories in history is the belief that the United States never actually landed on the moon, and that the entire Apollo program was a massive hoax staged by the government. The theory has been around since the early 1970s, shortly after the first moon landing, and it continues to be debated and discussed today. According to proponents of the theory, there are a number of reasons to doubt that the moon landings actually happened. Some of the key arguments include the following. The American flag appears to wave in the wind. One of the most famous images from the moon landing is of Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin planting the American flag on the surface of the moon. However, some people have argued that the flag appears to be waving in the wind, which would be impossible in the airless environment of space. There are no stars in the background of the photographs. Another commonly cited piece of evidence is the lack of stars in the photographs taken on the moon. Conspiracy theorists argue that this is because the photos were taken in a studio on Earth, where it would have been impossible to replicate the stars accurately. The shadows in the photographs appear to be inconsistent. Some people have pointed out that the shadows in the moon landing photographs don't seem to be consistent with the angle of the sun. This has led some to believe that the photos were staged using artificial lighting. The astronauts would have been killed by radiation. One of the biggest challenges of sending humans to the moon is the risk of exposure to radiation. Conspiracy theorists argue that the astronauts would have been killed by radiation during the journey, and that the government covered up the deaths to maintain the illusion of the moon landing. Despite these arguments, the vast majority of scientists and historians agree that the moon landings were real. There is an overwhelming amount of evidence to support the fact that humans have landed on the moon, including photographs, video footage, and samples of moon rocks that were brought back to Earth. In addition, there were thousands of people involved in the Apollo program, including scientists, engineers, and support staff, who would have had to be part of the conspiracy for it to be successful. Despite this evidence, however, the moon landing conspiracy theory continues to attract a passionate following. Some people believe that the government staged the hoax to win the space race against the Soviet Union, while others argue that the moon landing was faked to distract the public from political issues at home. Whatever the reason, the theory serves as a reminder that even the most seemingly incontrovertible evidence can be called into question by those who are determined to believe in a particular version of reality. While the moon landing conspiracy theory has been widely debunked, it has also had a significant impact on popular culture. The idea of a government cover-up has been the basis for numerous books, films, and television shows over the years. It has also contributed to a broader sense of mistrust in institutions and authority figures. Some conspiracy theorists have gone to great lengths to try and prove their case. For example, in 2002, a documentary filmmaker named Bart Sibrel confronted Apollo 11 astronaut Buzz Aldrin in public and demanded that he swear on a Bible that the moon landing was real. When Aldrin refused, Sibrel called him a coward and physically assaulted him. The incident was caught on camera and widely shared on the internet. Despite the persistence of the moon landing conspiracy theory, there have been a number of efforts to combat it. In 2001, NASA released a series of photographs and videos from the Apollo missions, including previously unseen footage of the moon landing. In 2009, the Mythbusters television show devoted an entire episode to debunking the moon landing conspiracy theory, using scientific experiments and analysis to prove that it was impossible to fake the moon landing. In recent years, there has been renewed interest in sending humans back to the moon. In 2024, NASA plans to launch the Artemis program, which aims to land the first woman and next man on the moon. This mission is expected to provide new evidence and insights into the moon's geology, environment, and potential for future exploration and habitation. Despite the ongoing debate, it seems likely that the moon landing conspiracy theory will continue to persist in the public imagination for years to come. The idea that the government could pull off such an elaborate hoax, and that so many people could be involved in the cover-up, is both fascinating and terrifying. But for the vast majority of scientists and historians, the evidence remains clear. Humans really did land on the moon. It's worth noting that the moon landing conspiracy theory is not unique in its skepticism towards major historical events. There are numerous other conspiracy theories that seek to challenge mainstream narratives, from the assassination of President John F. Kennedy to the events of September 11, 2001. These theories often gain traction in times of political and social upheaval, when people feel disillusioned and mistrustful of authority. At the same time, it's important to recognize the dangers of conspiracy theories. Not only can they lead to a distorted understanding of history, but they can also fuel distrust and paranoia among members of society. In extreme cases, conspiracy theories can even contribute to acts of violence and terrorism. As such, it's important to maintain a healthy skepticism towards conspiracy theories, while also remaining open to new evidence and perspectives. In the case of the moon landing conspiracy theory, the overwhelming weight of scientific and historical evidence suggests that humans really did land on the moon. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't continue to ask questions and explore new avenues of knowledge. After all, the spirit of exploration and curiosity that led humans to the moon in the first place is still alive and well today. The idea that the moon is an artificial satellite has been proposed by a small number of theorists over the years. The theory suggests that the moon was constructed by an extraterrestrial civilization and placed in orbit around the Earth. For example, they argue that the moon is too large and too perfectly placed in its orbit to have formed naturally. They also point to the fact that the moon's interior is different from that of other known celestial bodies in the solar system. Other arguments include the fact that the moon has no atmosphere, no magnetic field, and no visible geological activity. Some theorists also claim that the moon's craters and other features appear to be artificially constructed. While there is no conclusive evidence to support the theory that the moon is an artificial satellite, it remains an intriguing idea. Some scientists have proposed alternative explanations for the moon's unusual properties, such as the giant impact theory, which suggests that the moon formed when a Mars-sized object collided with the Earth billions of years ago. Despite the lack of evidence to support the theory that the moon is artificial, the idea has captured the imagination of many people over the years. It has been the basis for numerous science fiction stories and has even been referenced in popular culture, such as in the classic Pink Floyd album, Dark Side of the Moon. While the idea of an artificial moon may seem far-fetched, it is worth remembering that our understanding of the universe is constantly evolving. Who knows what new discoveries and insights will be made in the years to come? Perhaps one day we will find conclusive evidence to support the theory that the moon is an artificial satellite, or perhaps we will uncover new mysteries that challenge our understanding of the universe even further. In conclusion, while the theory that the moon is an artificial satellite remains controversial and lacks evidence, it nevertheless captures the imagination of many people. Whether the moon was naturally formed by the collision of a Mars-sized object with Earth or artificially constructed by an extraterrestrial civilization, it remains a fascinating subject of scientific inquiry and speculation. While it's important to maintain a healthy skepticism towards conspiracy theories and unproven ideas, it's also important to remain open to new discoveries and possibilities. As our understanding of the universe continues to evolve, we may one day uncover new insights into the origins and nature of the moon and the universe as a whole.